All right, guys. Hey, in this module, we are actually going to get to business and we're going to put together a campaign. This is where you actually get to start driving the traffic. By this point, you've got your keywords selected, you've got your niche ready to go, you've got your ads, you should have your landing page all set. The only thing missing by this point is the traffic. So let's go ahead and look at what we're going to be talking about in the next module and actually the next few modules. So we're going to be talking about setting our AdWords campaign. We're going to start with an AdWords walkthrough. I'm going to show you how to set up a search campaign, how to set up a display campaign, and set up a placement targeting, as well as a YouTube. And to help you understand, setting up a display campaign, that's, you know, when you go to CNN.com and you see ads by Google, those are called display ads. That's Google running ads all over their network of partner sites. Setting up a placement targeting campaign, the difference between placement targeting and display, it's the same thing. You're going into the same network, but in placement targeting, what you're doing is you're telling Google, don't run my ads anywhere you want to run them. Let me tell you the places I want my ads to show. So maybe you don't want it on CNN, but maybe you want it on MSNBC. So you get to actually tell Google where you want your ads to run. And that is very, very powerful. And I will show you why when we do that. Then we're going to go into setting up a quick YouTube campaign as well. So let's get started. And let's do a quick walkthrough. So first thing I did is I went ahead and created a new test AdWords account for this. I've done this many times in the past, and every once in a while you may have, I create these dummy ads and then I'll get a letter from Google saying, hey, this ad does not meet our qualifications. So I didn't want to take any more chances doing that in my live account. So let's do this in the dummy account. Okay, so you're going to go to adwords.google.com, and then once you're there, you can click on the link that says create an account. It's basic information, your state, your name. It's going to ask you what country and your time zone, and also your currency. Once you do all that, you're going to get an email that you've got to verify, which I haven't verified this one yet, so hopefully we don't have any issues. But you're going to get to this page and you're going to click on create your first campaign. Once you're here, actually, as you can see here, it says search network with display selected standard. Now, I will tell you what I like to do is I create a search campaign and I create a network or a display campaign separate. Right? I like to do all my campaigns separate. The reason is because I track them individually. So I know whether display is working or whether search is working. I do not like to keep them within the same network. So I like to keep them separate. So that's why we'll do a display campaign a little bit later as well. So if we click on the little drop down over here, we want to choose search network only. Okay, we're going to do a search network only. And by the way, folks, as we do this, there's probably 100 different things that we can do inside of Google AdWords. What I'm going to be teaching you is what you need to do to get started quickly and start making sales quickly. Some of the advanced strategies I'm not going to include because you're not going to need some of them right now. I'm assuming you want to make sales. You've got a product you want to sell. So that's what we're going to do. So to the right here, there's a lot of things that, I don't even mess with. So we'll look at what some of the new things they have. First of all, let's name our campaign. Let's call this so you see that? I name it Fat Burner Search. That's my campaign. From your campaign, you then have what's called a group. Groups are, you know how we group our keywords? That's what we do. So when you look at campaigns, there's a couple different ways you can look at your campaign. If you have multiple niche markets that you're in, maybe you're in the real estate market, maybe you're in the car market, maybe you're in the weight loss market. Each one of those can be your a different campaign. Okay, so inside your campaign, so inside your real estate campaign, you may have your real estate investing, you may have houses for sale, you may have, houses to buy. So you have different groups like that inside of your campaign. If you're in one niche market, right? So let's say you're only in real estate. Maybe you may set different states as your top level campaign. So you may have your Connecticut campaign. You may have your New York campaign. You may have your Florida campaign. And inside of Connecticut, you may have the different cities as ad groups. So maybe you have, Stanford, Norwalk, Bridgeport as different cities within the campaign. So the way you organize your accounts, you've got your top level campaign, and then you have your ad groups inside. So you can, and again, that could be one niche market, or it can be multiple niche markets as your main campaign, and then your subgroups underneath of that. The main reason for it is just more for organization, more than anything else. So let's go here. We typed in Fat Burner Search as our campaign name, and it's asking, do we want to go standard, which is keyword targeted text ads showing on Google search results, or all features, all the features and options available for the search network? Well, let's go all the features, right? Click OK. All right, let's rename this. Product listings, dynamic search ads. You don't want to get into this right now. It's really not what you want. Now, we get to a section where it says, we're in the Google search network. Do we want to include the search partners? Let me explain what the search partners are. Search partners will run your ad on partners that are displaying Google ads. So for example, if you go to AOL.com and you do a search in AOL.com, that's a search partner. The difference between the display network and the search partner is these are actual search engines. That's a website where someone goes in, they type in a keyword, and then it shows your ad. Amazon is a search partner network. AOL is a search partner network. Ask.com is a search partner network. So do you want to be included in the search partner network? Yes or no? I will tell you, when you're just starting out and you're testing a campaign and you want to absolutely know whether this is a good campaign or not without having the extra clicks or extra traffic to worry about, uncheck this. Because if it's not working on Google, it's not going to work on the search partner. So there is no need to pay for that extra traffic until you know you've got a converting offer. So I will uncheck that. Okay, so typically what I like to do when it comes to all devices is I like to start with just the desktop. And then depending on how well it's converting, I will add the mobile devices like iPad or anything that has a browser, a full browser. If you've got an offer and your landing page is mobile optimized, then fine. If you're not sure if your landing page is mobile optimized, do not use this option because upwards of 20 to 30% of your traffic can come from the mobile devices. The other thing that you can do if you want to do a split test is rerun a copy of this campaign, except you've got one version with mobile devices, another version with just desktop, so you can see how each one is converting for you. Now you've got to pick your location. Again, totally depends on what you're doing. Maybe you've got a product or service that can only be sold in one specific area. Maybe you can only sell in California. Maybe you can only sell in Australia. Whatever the case may be, you can come in here and choose that. For what I do, typically I like to go global. So I will come in and I may choose all countries. And if I'm choosing all countries, then I'll have my ads running everywhere. Depends on what my product is. If I have to choose, so for example, if I've got something that I don't want to run everywhere, Not sure how it's going to convert, especially as you're beginning. Choose, let me choose, and then you want to choose here United States, okay, the whole country, Canada, the whole country, Australia, the whole country, United Kingdom, the whole country, and New Zealand in the whole country. Okay, so typically this is what I will choose because these are the top 5 English speaking places that you're going to want your ads to be. So UK, New Zealand, Australia, Canada, and United States. Right? This is where I've always found most of my sales come from anyway. I mean, I've got sales in about 100 different countries, but 80% is probably from here. Location options. If you want to go advanced, you can do that. Let me just explain to you what this is telling you here. People in searching for or viewing pages about my targeted location. People in my targeted location, or people searching for or viewing pages about my targeted location. This is what we call a geo-targeted campaign. For many of you, you're not going to need that. But to help you understand, if I am searching for the keyword real estate, a geo-targeted campaign is I'm targeting for the keyword real estate, but I didn't type in real estate Hartford, Connecticut, real estate Orlando, Florida. I just typed in real estate. So what you then do with a targeted search is you are telling Google only when people are in this specific area to show them the ad. If they're outside of this area, don't show my ad. Okay. So for example, if I want to reach people looking for real estate, but they didn't type in Hartford, Connecticut, a geo-targeted campaign, I say, hey, anyone in the Hartford area who type in the word real estate, show my ad, because Google knows based off of their IP that they are in the Hartford, Connecticut area. So that's what these options here. In the beginning, for what you're doing, you're not going to need this for 90% of you guys who are taking this training. Now, the question is my suggested languages. I don't even know why French is an option in here. So I do not want French. I want just plain English. And so that's all I need here is just plain English. Shopping channels, we didn't do a shopping ad. So again, this is an advanced strategy. For most of you guys, you're not going to need the shopping channel. Bid strategies. Okay, you've got a couple options. I'll manually set my bids for clicks, or AdWords will set my bids to help maximize clicks within my target budget. I've done both of these and I've gotten good results with both. Typically, I will tell you that I start with I'll manually set my bids for clicks. Once you've got conversions happening and you've got some traffic coming in, then you can go in and say, let me let AdWords set my bids and help let AdWords maximize. The reason being is you need to see what your numbers are before you let somebody else manage it for you, especially AdWords, which is a machine, right? Find out what your numbers look like, see if they're any good, then you're going to go and let AdWords go in and manage that for you. Okay, so again, we've got our bid set for manual clicks. Let's look at what some of the advanced options are. See, you're not going to need any of these. Focus on conversions for what you're starting off at the beginning. You're not going to need any of these. Now, let's start with my default bid. This bid applies to the first ad group in this campaign. So, listen, I'm a cheapskate. Depending on what and I've bid as high as $3 per click, $4 per click on a keyword, and as little as 1 or 2 cents per click on a keyword. So right now, we're going to set our bids for the keywords. This is just saying the default bid for the ad group. In other words, if I don't change the bid on the keyword, it's going to take the default bid of the ad group. So we can put anything in here. Let's start with 15 cents for now. Sometimes, you know, I'll start a campaign with 10 or 15 cents just to see what the traffic looks like and see what the clicks look like on that first day. And then I'll adjust it up or down from there. My daily budget, let's set this to, again, totally depends on what I'm doing, if I know the market that I'm in. But if I don't know, hey, let's set the bid to $10 or $15 per day. I've got some markets where it's set for a couple $100 a day. But those are markets where I'm an expert in and I know what my conversion numbers are. So it's set a little bit higher than normal. But if I'm just coming into a market where I absolutely don't know, hey, $10, $15 a day, 15 cents a click, let's see what's going to happen. Here are delivery methods. Okay, so let's talk about delivery methods and explain what that is. What you want to do, we just set our budget. We set our budget for $15. Okay, so this is saying show my ads evenly over time, or accelerate, show my ads more quickly until budget is reached. Here's what that means. Google, if I set my standard, which is show ads evenly over time, Google is going to take this $15 and it's going to try to spend that $15 over 24 hours. It's going to start showing my ads at midnight, my time. That's why it's important when you set your time that you set your correct time zone. This is when you're creating your account. And so it's going to divide that budget over time. So Google's going to say, hey, there's an average 1,000 searches a day for this keyword. If you're paying $1 per click and you bid $15, that's just about 1 click an hour. So it's going to show your ads, get you the 1 click, turn it off, get you in the next hour, get you 1 click, turn off your ad. The next hour, get you another click and turn off your ad. It's going to do that all throughout the day. I like to choose accelerated, which means start showing my ads at midnight and don't stop showing my ads until I run out of funds, right? So until that $15 is depleted, keep showing my ads. The reason being is I just don't know when that sale is going to happen. So if Google is taking my ads on and in and out of the marketplace, well, while I'm out of that marketplace, I could potentially lose a sale. So keep your ads showing all day until you run out of money. If your ad is converting, then you want it showing all day. If it's not converting, then you don't want it showing at all, period. So I like to keep mine accelerated. Now, here is something called site link extensions. And there's things that you can put in your ad that are pretty interesting here. And I'll tell you how I've used these. So let's open up Notepad and show you. Here is my ad, my text for my ad, and then you've got my web address.com. What site link extensions are is in the actual ads itself, Google allows you to do things like you can add links to specific pages in your web page. So you may have the About Us page, you may have the Order Now, you may have the, free report. So you can have these links in your actual ads and people can click on. Now, when they click on any of these links or they click on the ad itself, you're going to incur that cost. So this allows you to take that person directly to very specific pages in your landing page. That's what the site link extensions are. This is what all of this is. It can be a phone number if you want it to. It can be if you've got reviews for your ads or for your products, it can be that. If you've got a product listing, in other words, you've got products on Google, again, that's more advanced, but you got products on Google, you can link directly to very specific products and let Google take people directly to those pages. For now, you're not going to need these in the beginning, all right? But they are good to know and good to use at some point. All right, schedule start dates, end dates. I've never even messed with these. I let it start right now and start right away. Ad delivery rotation. Now, this one's going to be important. You've got optimize for clicks, optimize for conversions, or rotate evenly. And let me tell you what that is. You're going to be split testing ads. This is part of the process. So we've got ad number 1, we've got ad number 2, and then we have ad number 3. So what this is telling Google, so what we're going to do, and we talked about this in the ad writing module, but what we're going to do is we're going to create 2 or 3 different versions of the ad. We're going to let Google send a traffic to them. Google is going to rotate the ads for you, but we don't know which ad is going to be the winner, right? So how do we decide which ad to show, or how does Google decide which ad to show? If you say optimize for clicks, Google, what it's going to do is, let's say this ad has a 2% CTR and this ad has a 5% CTR and this ad has a 1% CTR. What Google is going to do is Google is going to show more of this ad than it will this one or this one. So in other words, it's saying this ad is producing the most sales or the most clicks, so let's show more of this. Now let's add another feature here. Let's say this one has a 3% conversion, and let's say this ad, which has the most clicks, only has a 1% conversion, and let's say this one, which has the least amount of click-through rates, has a 5% conversion. So now if we tell Google, let's optimize for conversions, what's going to happen in this scenario is this ad here, even though this has the most clicks, it has the least conversion. So you're telling Google, conversions are sales, by the way, folks. Conversions are either people who are opting in or people who are buying your product. We'll show you where you add the conversions in a little bit. But what Google is going to do is Google is going to say, since this ad is getting the highest conversion, even though it has not the best click-through rate, this is making you the most money. Let's show this ad first or more often than the other. And the difference could be, this can be seen 70% of the times, and this one can be 10, this one could be 15. That's what's going to happen. And the thing, what I find is, you don't want Google to make those decisions. You need to make those on your own. So what you want to do is choose rotate evenly. So when it's rotated evenly, right? And then what'll happen is, and actually look, there's 2 things. It's rotate evenly, rotate indefinitely. So this one here is rotate evenly, then optimize. This one is rotate indefinitely and do not optimize. So this is the one you want to choose. Do not optimize. I do this on my own. So first thing I'm going to do, I rotate them evenly, and then I decide, okay, Google, which one of these ads is getting the highest click-through rate? Okay, which one is getting the highest click-through rate? So the first thing I'm looking for is click-through rate. Okay, Google, we find that this ad is getting the highest click-through rate. So what I'm going to do is whatever the content of that ad is, that becomes my control. Then what I'm going to do is we're going to do a second test. So we're going to take this ad, this becomes our main ad, and then we may create 2 or 3 more ads. This time we're looking for to see if we can beat the control. If the control wins again, the next thing I'm going to look for is conversion rate, which means profitability. So number 1 is click-through rate. Number 2 is conversion rate. So I may let this run for, a week or 2, and it could be, let me send 500, 600, 700 visitors. Let's see what happens. Then once that happens, let me send another 500 or 600 visitors. Let's see what happens from there. So I like to make those decisions on my own. I just don't trust the computer to make that decision for me. Okay, keyword matching options. We're not going to worry about those here. I mean, this is default, which is include plurals, misspellings, and other close variations. Basically, if someone has a typo of your word, do you want that your ad to show or do you not? I would tell you it doesn't matter either way. Before, I've always had them when I first started as do not include. Now the default is include, and I really haven't measured to see if there's a huge difference or not. I've never really had an issue with that. Tracking URLs for dynamic links, that you do not have to mess with. That I would leave as is. So now what we want to do is we've got everything done here that we need. The next thing is we are going to save and continue with creating our ad, which is actually the next step. So let's just save this. And then the next part we'll start over with is actually creating the ad.